Welcome to the podcast, Kathryn. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself so that the audience knows what does CopyHouse do and what is your role in that?
Sure, of course. So my name's Kathryn Strachan, and I'm head of content at CopyHouse. CopyHouse, we're a content marketing agency that specializes in primarily long form and SEO copy for fintech and financial service companies. So we're basically writing pretty much everything that you find online, from your white papers to your blog articles to your landing pages, to drip email campaigns. So we're all about the words, really.
That's nice. Oh, so I see you write landing page copies. You also run nurture campaigns and drip campaigns. So that means you really need to nail the audience that your client is dealing with. So if I were
correct.
to ask, where should one ideally start their customer persona research? Like, should they go to the market or ask the experts or do an in-depth competitor analysis? Where should one ideally start?
Well, I think you start at the very beginning. So from the second that you become a brand, you should be thinking about who your target customers are. Now, when I ask my clients these questions, often they tell me about the people that they're currently working with. But what I'm interested in knowing is, who do you want to work with? So, I mean, this comes even before doing competitor analysis, because who you're working with and who you want to work with is going to define who your competitors are. So before you can really dive into the market research of, what these people actually think and want and need, you have to create at least a rough idea of, who you want to be working with. So it comes from your own desires, from your own interests, and these are the people that I really connect with. These are the people that I want to be serving, to be working with. So it's asking yourself, like, what does the ideal customer look like, or client? So who are they? What kind of role do they work in? Where do they live? How much money do they make or earn or spend? Everything from like that top level stuff to the really basic, really important. What are their most pressing needs, desires, wants, wishes? And then, once you understand that information, you can position your product or your service to meet those needs and those desires. Without that fundamental information, it's almost impossible.
That's so true. I mean, yeah, I really like the aspect that you said, that it's not about who you're currently working with, but it's about who you would want to work with. So then, what do you think is the importance of building your content around the pain points of the people you want to work with?
Well, somebody who I know once said that when you try to speak to everybody, you end up speaking to no one. And when you don't understand who you're talking to, you send out content that's really generic, that falls on deaf ears because nobody can relate to it. But when you understand who you're talking about, you can make them sit up and say, yes, they get it. They understand. Like, this is a brand that is going to change my life. So, I mean, everything you do, from your website content to like even blog articles, should be so tailored and so perfectly attuned to who you want to work with, that it makes them feel like you're speaking to them.
True. And also, I think we've heard this enough and many number of times that you should humanize your content, because at the end of the day, wherever your content is going to be shared, it's going to be looked at from a human perspective, from a human being. So, how can a business add personality to that content?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. You see this quite a lot with, so the difference between B2B and B2C content. B2B writers, marketers sometimes forget that, who they're speaking to are humans. So, I mean, it might be a human in a job in an organization, but it's still a human. And, at the end of the day, humans, whether they're at work or, at play, have needs and desires and wishes and pain points. And it's that pain point, that thing in their life that is causing them hassle or wasting their time or making it harder for them to do their job or to you know enjoy the high life or to relax. It's that pain point in their life, and identifying that pain point that takes your service from being a vitamin, a nice to have, I can buy it tomorrow, I don't really need it today, to a headache reliever where they're going to buy it right now. Actually,
True.
they've already pressed purchase.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so, like you said, that it's about talking about the pain points and the pressing needs that make the audience want to press purchase right now instead of defer their decisions. So then, should content pieces which can be so the audience can discover you from various avenues, right? So should a content piece be repurposed or written in such a form that the audience can discover it better?
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, when you write an article or blog post, probably one of the worst things you can do is just leave it on your website. You need to then take that blog post and deliver it to your people. So, whether that's sharing across social media or sharing it via a newsletter or, doing some outreach and getting it as a guest post, you need to disseminate or circulate your content so that people can consume it. Otherwise, it's like, even if it's been SEO optimized, I mean, it might get on page one, but otherwise, it's not achieving the best results. So I always encourage all of my clients, to be thinking about a piece of content as part of a wider strategy. So we're not just doing a piece of content, we're also doing social posts, we're also doing emails, and it's all these things put together that allows us to achieve the best results. Now, the social media platform that you're on, or the newsletter that you create, or even, the guest posts that you write or share, should have to be lined up with your target audience. So for example, if you're a B2B brand, if say you work with accountants, probably one of the best places to reach accountants is going to be LinkedIn, where if you're a lifestyle travel brand, you're probably going to be reaching people through Instagram or Facebook. So, I mean, thinking about, who are your people that you're trying to reach, and how do they spend time online? What other blogs do they read? What news sources, are they spending their time looking at? And then getting your blog in front of them using these channels that they're already engaging with. So say, for example, they're already reading, like the International Accounting Association journal, or something like this. Getting your blog post on that platform would allow them to see and understand your brand through an already trusted platform. I mean, the same goes with social media. So I mean, they're already logging into Instagram to scroll through their feeds every day, and then they see your brand, and it's a much more natural way for them to connect. I read a LinkedIn post the other day that somebody had put up who said, people aren't logging into your company website to scroll through every single day, but people do wake up and go straight to their Facebook or their Instagram or their Twitter feeds and scroll through that every single day, multiple times a day. So not being on, the platforms where they're already engaging makes it much harder to establish that relationship.
True, so true. I mean, I think I read it somewhere that on an average, a human spends 9 hours of his day on social media. So of course, one needs to leverage it for sure. So could you share
Yeah.
certain actionable strategies that would encourage the audience to hit the purchase button now? Maybe via a client success story?
So I would start by asking yourself some very specific questions. Who is your ideal customers? So these aren't your current customers. They're the people that you want to be working with if you could work with anybody in the whole entire world. And what do they care about? What are their values? What do they think about? What's their biggest pain point? What's a thing in their lives that's causing them the most hassle, the most inconvenience, and how can you then position your product to make their lives easier, better? Alongside this, you should also be asking questions like, where do they spend their time online? What kind of content do they already consume? Who do they follow? All of this information will help shape your overall strategy. Now, at this point, you're just working on your current understanding, perhaps people that you've met that you've gone, oh, I'd really love to work with you, but you haven't really done any in-depth research yet. So the very next step is to go and talk to some of these people who fit your ideal customer avatar. You might already have current clients that fit this profile, or you might need to go find some. But when you do, ask these tough questions and see if your insights and understanding is correct. Or maybe you discover something new, like you thought that they read a certain blog article every day, but actually they're spending their time online elsewhere. Now, this information kind of validates, confirms, or dismisses the insights you made earlier. And may also help you generate some leads during this process. I mean, you might speak to somebody who you have a fantastic conversation with that goes, oh, I could really use your services. But regardless, after this next step, you then need to start taking these insights and implementing them across your content marketing strategy. So they're going to influence things like the type of content you create, whether that's thought leadership, videos, podcasts, etc., and how you share it. So where are you posting your content online? Do you use Medium? Do you use LinkedIn articles? Are you sharing it on social media? If so, what platforms? It might even shape things like what time you share your content. Maybe your ideal customer is really active online in the very early mornings, right before work, or maybe they're very active during work. So your insights of who your ideal customer are can shape your whole entire strategy. Now, it's hard to give one concrete answer because everybody's ideal customers is going to be a little bit different, but you should, once you've done the research, understand it a bit better, how you can use these insights to shape your content. Here at CopyHouse, we use this process that I just talked about with all of our clients. So we always start conversations, whether you're a potential client, a lead, or a current client, with, exploring your understanding of your ideal customer. Some of our clients, by the time they come to us, have already spent time thinking about and answering these questions. Others are starting from the ground up. So we're really used to working with clients that fall across that spectrum when it comes to understanding about their ideal customers. For the clients who haven't started this process, we'll walk you through each step and help you conduct this market research by carrying out interviews, asking questions, talking to your ideal customers either online or via the phone. And once we have these insights, we'll then do exactly what I was talking about and use them to shape our content marketing strategy. So it will influence everything from our recommendations, whether we recommend that you use LinkedIn or send your content out via newsletter, or maybe you focus your efforts on Instagram and Facebook. But all of our recommendations are very much founded on this belief and this understanding of who your ideal customer is. So it's a very important thing to think about and to spend some time figuring out. It allows you to achieve far better results than if you just create generalized content. So I guess my biggest recommendation as a content marketer to anybody who wants to create effective and engaging content would be to think about this and to really nail it down. Get your customer profiles in shape before you do anything else.
True. I mean, I think creating content consistently is one of the biggest reasons and even biggest challenges that companies face sometimes, because like you said correctly, they might not know the culture or the pain points that resonate with them and why they started the brand in the first place. So yeah, I think this is a very good takeaway for our audience to start with. Like, understand why you started the company in the first place. before you're getting to know who you should deal with, like what customers you should appoint. So yeah, thank you so much for all your amazing insights, Kathryn. And I'm sure most of my audience is going to appreciate all the kind words that you've said.
Well, thank you for having me on this show. It's been lovely to talk to you about content marketing and how your ideal customer plays into that. If you're interested in learning more about your ideal customers, please follow me on LinkedIn at Kathryn Strachan, or check out my website at www.copyhousecopywriting.com. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, so just ping me an email or direct message on LinkedIn, and I will get back to you. All right, great. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to talk to you guys about this fascinating subject.